Good day, everyone. Good day, Lutukan Integrated National High School. It is indeed my honor and pleasure to be one of the resource speakers for your school's Project Drive. This is truly a commendable and worthy undertaking, for this is pro teachers, and this truly enhances and bolsters professional growth and development. I am Rex de Jesus Bibal. I am Teacher 3 from Calamba City Science Integrated School, and I am tasked to expound and to explain RPMS-PPST Objective 4. I hope that in this session, you will be enjoying, you will be learning, and you can apply some of the suggested activities for the benefits of our school learners. So my fellow teachers, without further ado, let's get the ball rolling. Objective 4 of RPMS-PPST. Established a learner-centered culture by using teaching strategies that respond to their linguistic, cultural, socioeconomic, and religious background. As we can all notice, in other words, this objective harps on learners' diversity. It is the teacher's effort to consider the students' individual differences so that we can create a learner-centered classroom. I know that in Department of Education, we have been using different learning modalities such as the online, be it synchronous, and we have the printed, and also we have the blended. Regardless of the modalities, we can actually have the opportunity to um to adapt and to modify our SLMs and WHLP so that we can still um, consider the individual differences of our learners. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see on your screen, we have the RPMS tool or form for teachers 1 to 3. And these are the duties and responsibilities. We have 11, and we will be focusing on addresses learner diversity, okay, as our duty and responsibility. That's number 4. And as you can see, this is really aligned with objective 4, which is more on responding to cultural, linguistic, socioeconomic, and religious differences of our. Now, for the objective 4, ladies and gentlemen, we have the means of verification. And these are any supplementary materials in print or in digital format made by the teacher and used in the lesson delivery. So it's very important that we pay attention to our filing, how we put our materials in the designated folders so that we can have the easy access to it and we can harvest them right away once we need them for the portfolio accomplishment. Now, the supplementary materials can be one activity sheet. So all you have to do is to annotate or highlight the directions or the activity itself that may have an alignment to the objective for either linguistic, cultural, socioeconomic, and religious background. It is not actual. It doesn't mean that you will be hitting the linguistic, the cultural, socioeconomic, and religious background all in one. So it is possible that you may hit one or two or a combination of these aforementioned factors. Now, for the activity sheets, so you just have to annotate or to highlight that particular instruction or instruction or procedure that may reflect the aforementioned factors. Now, a lesson from SLM. Our module, so if we know what is the content of our RPMS, so it's very important that we know it right away so that when we prepare for our lessons, when we study our module, it may somehow ring a bell. Okay, what do I mean by that? So once you are studying or preparing for the lessons, you can readily say na this one is pasok to sa objective 4. So that is from lessons ating SLM or the self learning materials. Okay, so here we have also the lesson and given the pandemic, we have been using the WHLP. So all we have to do is to annotate or highlight the directions in the WHLP that is related to objective 4. The video lesson. So you can save the video lesson in your uh, PowerPoint for the if you are doing the digital portfolio, or you can attach the link of this in your portfolio so that the rater can just click on it and can watch the video wherein you can have the realization of the objective 4. Now, audio lesson is also possible and other learning materials. Okay, and all you have to do is to specify and provide annotation. Why is this a realization or a fulfillment of the objective 4? Ladies and gentlemen, in the PPST resource package, there you can find these gems, which are the differentiated strategies aligned with learners' diversity. However, upon reading this and upon studying these strategies, I must say that some of these might be best applied during the face-to-face learning modality because some of these needs the classroom structure, the presence of the teachers, and also the collaborations among the learners. So I think we will find it challenging in applying this in the new normal. However, let's look at some of the strategies that can still be possible. The next one, or the first one, is the flexible grouping. This one is temporarily grouping students by interest, achievement level, or we say readiness, learning profile, activity preference, or special needs. I have actually this birth research proposal which looks at the possibility of cooperative and collaborative learning activities in the new normal. I know that mahirap ito sa panahon ngayon. How are you going to group if my students are in modular? Okay, how am I going to give them the opportunity to chat, to give them the opportunity to talk and to brainstorm for a particular goal or project. So it's really difficult. However, if we have the online modality or learning modality, I think this can be possible. No, so we have to group them according to their levels or preferences and more differentiated strategies would be group investigations. We have the jigsaw, learning contracts, station. So let us just familiarize ourselves with these strategies for maybe after this pandemic, we would go back to the face-to-face learning modality and we can apply this and this will be very, very helpful. Moreover, we have Socratic seminar. So this one is applicable when are conducting synchronous online class, wherein we can have the discussion where students share with each other their thoughts on a particular piece from literature, history, current events, issues, or hypothetical situations. So this is not just confined in in English, Philippine or language subjects, and also in ating panlipunan subjects, but this can be applied across learning areas, no? So because they will be sharing their insights and their ideas regarding a particular matter. Now we have the tic-tac-toe, a menu or options arranged in a 3 by 3 blank grid. Students choose their tasks in a vertical, horizontal, or diagonal line. We also have the tired assignments, which is more on tailor fit, no? Changing the depth of complexity of a lesson to create multiple levels of tasks and assigning students to a level according to their readiness. So you will have a list of tasks which is convergent to your lesson objective. However, the complexity of each task varies, okay? And for example, this particular task will be given to a particular group depending on their readiness. So they will be answering in same context. However, the complexity of the task varies from one level to another. And we also have the web quests. Now, we have the gender as the concept for learners diversity, okay, and this one is under the cultural and also their personal background, no, illustrations of practice. The teacher initiates learning experiences that are equitable for all learners. The teacher does not show preference for any group over the other. The example, the teacher does not say that female learners are working better than male learners. The teacher can also assign male and female leaders in small group discussions and activities. So let us pay attention to this, especially in our PowerPoint presentations. Whenever we use images or examples or names, so let us not focus on one gender. So we have been using she, Anna, Maria, and then all the pictures are all girls or female symbols. So let us pay attention to both genders or sexes. Now, the needs. The teacher integrates into the lessons activities that promote the emotional well-being of the learners. The teacher encourages learners to work together and practice friendship skills, helping others, sharing toys or books, taking turns in games or activities, okay, and also listening to each other. And the teacher also provides positive comments when learners manifest these skills as the reinforcement. And for the strength, the teacher provides activities that help learners celebrate their strengths. The teacher can use prompts such as, I was proud of myself when the things I am good at are. So this one is more on digging on the confidence building or the self-esteem bolstering of our learners. Okay, so more on the open-ended type of questions or reflections prompts. So here, like I was proud of myself when okay, and also the interests. So let us not the topic for their essays, for their artworks, okay? Maybe sometimes we can give them the freedom to choose on what topic they want to work on. Okay, what are some of the interests that he or she is inclined with, so that the project or the performance task will be really aligned with his or her choice. Okay? Now, from the prodigy.com, I have found conditions for creating a culturally responsive classroom. Number one is we have to establish inclusion. Of course, not one less. No one should be discriminated. No one should be left behind across learning modalities, across ages, and also across the social economic status of our learners. So, as a teacher, let us always be fair with them, and let us always maintain the sense of belongingness in our class. The next one will be developing positive attitudes. Let's always reinforce good deeds. Always reinforce positive attitudes. How? In the time of pandemic, by just writing our comments and messages to them, by chatting them, and by if whenever we see them in social media and they have been um, sharing good things that they have contributed to the community or to their family. So let's always look at every opportunity that we can reinforce the positive attitudes of our learners. Okay? And let us always enhance meaning. When we say enhance meaning, let us try to teach our students to think critically by giving them questions which are really a higher order thinking skills. So art of questioning during is really essential since time immemorial, because this will really push our students to think beyond the box, okay, and to enhance meaning, to relate it with themselves, to relate the topic with the world, and so on. And lastly, our activities and our messages or comments to them must, of course, foster confidence or self-esteem so that they will not be afraid to go out of their shells, and they will not be afraid to show the world what the best version of themselves. Okay, and actually I have here a video that would somehow uh, reinforce what I have said about the culturally responsive classroom, or creating a culturally responsive classroom. So kindly watch this.
Welcome to the Teacher's Toolbox, a video resource created by Dr. Sherry Valentine for students pursuing careers in education. Today's lesson is on cultural diversity. Strategies for teaching culturally diverse students. Here are today's objectives. 1. Define cultural diversity. 2. Identify instructional strategies. 3. Identify teacher behaviors. And 4. Reflect on your practices. Cultural diversity refers to the variety of culture and differences that exist in our culture. It may include one's cultural identity, lifestyle, background, communication styles, morals, values, ethics, race, gender, status, and individuality. Does this sound like anyone you know?
Hey, all students are the same. I teach my way, and if they get it, they get it. If not, oh well, see you next year, kiddo.
I don't think so. There's gotta be a better way. Educational reformer John Dewey said, "If we teach today's students as we taught yesterday's, we rob them of tomorrow." It's paramount that today's educators demonstrate respect, collaboration, tolerance, understanding, equity, and awareness. This is going to require you to think outside of the box, knowing that there are different pathways to success. Here's some helpful tips. Use a variety of instructional strategies and learning activities. Offering variety provides the students with opportunities to learn in ways that are responsive to their own communication styles, cognitive styles, and aptitudes. Next, consider your students' cultures and language skills when developing learning objectives and instructional activities. Perhaps you could take a related field trip to a cultural museum or even host a Global Fest in your classroom. You should also incorporate objectives for affective and personal development. Provide opportunities for high, low, and middle achievers to boost their self-esteem, develop positive self-attributes, and enhance their strengths and talents. Most importantly, build rapport with your students. Understanding their lives will enable you to increase the relevance of lessons and make examples more meaningful. This also helps students know how much you care, and students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. To summarize, teaching culturally diverse students means that you should appreciate and accommodate the similarities and differences among your students' cultures. Just like our students, we teachers also need to regularly reflect on our learning. So here are some reflective questions. What does valuing diversity look like in the classroom? Are you modeling respect and cross-cultural understanding? Do you provide opportunities for a variety of achievers? Are you customizing their pathways to success? Do you possess any cultural biases that may influence your teaching practices? Remember, we're often products of our environment. And lastly, how can you build rapport with your students? Think about your communication style. Use your personality, humor, charisma. Be likable. Maybe you could share a childhood story. Be courteous and be approachable. Thanks for watching and happy teaching.
Okay, for the last part of my presentation, here is the culturally responsive teaching strategies that we can apply. This is also from Guido 2017. Okay, so let us learn more about our students so that we can really tailor fit, okay, our lessons to them or our activities, because the lessons of course are dictated by our SLMs and our MELCs. So but the activities, this can really be teacher developed, so we can really um, consider our students. So let us always try to talk, okay, with our students so that we can learn from them and also from their parents and what have you. Okay, so let us this can be done through our chats, through surveys, okay, through open discussions, okay, in our online class and so. Now, the number two is also aligned with the number one, learning students through interview. Let us always find time to interview our students regarding their hobbies, their favorite lessons and activities, and what kinds of exercises help them remember lessons and improve skills. Let us integrate relevant word problems. For example, the COVID-19 or pandemic-related word problems in any issues or problems in your locality, for example, in Quezon Province, and also in their local communities. So you can integrate these concepts or these issues to the word problem so that they can identify themselves with it and they are so familiar, uh, instead of giving them westernized problems, which were set in America, in Korea, and in different part of the world, wherein we can have a lot of relevant issues here in the Philippines or in the province that we can integrate to our lessons or our activities. Present new concepts by using student vocabulary. Okay, so as we all know, they are very fond of video games, K-pop, TikTok, social media, gadgets, music, and maybe fashion, or what else can you think of their interests nowadays. Now, so here, let us use this as the springboard, or let us use this as our guide in trying to reach our students, so they will not find our activities and lessons boring, because this is set in their age, and this is set uh, in their um, in their interest, no, because they have this their vocabularies, selfies, okay, so, and also Instagram, so their Twitter, so we can anchor our activities on those things. Deliver different forms of content through learning stations. So here we can, this one is more on face-to-face, because this more on in jigsaw strategies, that in every station they will be doing something for that particular subject matter. So, and then as they go on, they will be solving different problems or puzzles and activities that they have to accomplish. And as they uh, uh, pass through all the stations, they will be hitting all the objectives set before the class. So this one is the learning through stations, no? And here are the sample activities per station: playing a game, creating artwork, watching a video, reading article, completing puzzles, or you can be one of the station wherein you will be teaching them. Now, this is now the trend nowadays. Gamification of lessons. We all know that our students are really, really interested in when it comes to video games or to games. So we may start thinking of different strategies on how we can gamify our lessons. And there are existing software such as the quizzes. We also have the uh, local games installed in our computers. Okay, if this can be related to our lesson, so it can also be used, no, So, and there are different existing softwares available or that they can do online. Okay. Here we have offering rewards such as badges for completing a specific task or achieving certain scores, setting a clear learning goal for the lesson, charting the progress, and creating an instruction manual for a project. Okay, so if we can, and also in the PowerPoint presentation, we can create games, no? We can create we have the templates for um, who wants to be a millionaire, also the deal or no deal, and we have different Android or Apple apps available in the Play Store that we can use, no, to as a supplementary activity for our lessons. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this might not be possible if we have the modular learning modality. But if ever you are conducting online class, especially synchronous online class, this is really possible. So our principal always encourages us, the teachers, to call on everybody when we conduct our online class. And this is, of course, to let them feel that they matter, to let them feel that they have contributed something in the period of your class, and also that to let them know that their ideas matter. Now, encourage students to propose ideas for projects. This can enhance their creativity, their critical thinking, and also their knowledge of the community and of the world. And this is really, really uh, highly contextualized or localized, since this is really related to them and to their community. Okay, experiment with peer teaching. So, for example, they have their neighborhood, or if it's possible, or if they can, if you can pair them and they can use the Facebook Messenger or email or any form of communication, they can have the peer teaching. It's also possible, no? Because, of course, the anxiety is low since they have that they are classmates, compared to a teacher and a student. The anxiety may be higher, no, compared to peer teaching. So let us try to optimize this peer teaching. Next will be implement cooperative learning experiences. So cooperative learning experiences, of course, group projects, group performance tasks, or group activities that they can work on. So if it's possible, given the modality that you have, but if there is an opportunity, let us always have this, because some of the students personally, they have been sharing na, "Sir, nami-miss po talaga namin yung brainstorming, nami-miss po talaga namin yung nagko-collaborate kami at nag-share kami ng iba't ibang mga experiences namin at ideas namin in order to come up with the goal or with the project." So, kung may opportunity po, so let us try to still have the cooperative learning experiences, because this one is really culturally responsive. At pasok na pasok po tayo doon sa ating objective 4, because they will be sharing their maybe they will share their cultural background, their religious background, and all, and they will be learning. And of course, how can we forget the parents' involvement? So given the setup in this global crisis, parents play one of the biggest roles in the education system. They know their students, their children's background, their religious background, their cultural, their social, economic, and their linguistic background. Walang ibang mas nakakakilala sa mga estudyante natin kundi ang kanilang mga magulang. So therefore, mas makakaya nilang ma-manage ito if and only if we will give some of the activities na kung saan medyo mare-require yung mga magulang nila na sumagot, i-require natin sila na, for example, interview. So that is why in English 7, I'm also teaching English 7, and there was an activity before that they have to make a podcast or a digital audio file for an interview. So I required them to interview their uh, house members or their family members, their parents or their brothers or sisters. So they can have the feeling that they are involved, okay, that they are involved in the students' learning. Okay. Now, at this juncture, allow me to share some of my students' output in media and information literacy. And this involves the community issues and also our school news issues and also announcements that need to be published in terms of their necessity, relevance, and timeliness. No, so here, as you can see, my students uh, write the articles and also they conceptualize the paper and they also made the layout and the design of the papers. So this is somehow really related to objective 4 because this may involve their linguistic competence, their religion and cultural background, and also this is more on contextualized, okay? This is really contextualized or localized. Another one is the local destination feature. So this is like a magazine type of a project, but this is just one page. I asked them to look for a particular place na pwede nilang isulat, and of course the photo, and they will be designing it in such a way that they are marketing the place for the local destination or local tourism boost. So given this is really aligned with objective 4 since this is more on their linguistic abilities and also their the cultural background is also featured in here because the place, of course, has the historical and the cultural background, and also that, and of course, it has something to do with the learners, okay? Because it's their choice because they have been into a particular place. So this one is more on sharing their narratives or personal narratives about this place. So this that somehow talks about their background and their personal, and so this one I didn't ask them to feature a place that I want. So I gave them the freedom to choose to all the place that they have been into. I what is the best that you can feature. Okay, so this one is. Now, my fellow teachers, before I end my session, let us go back to our tool. As you can see, we have the objective, the MOVs, and for the quality, if you want to grade, to get a rating of 5 or outstanding, you have to utilize effective teaching strategies that are appropriate in responding to learners' linguistic, cultural, socioeconomic, or religious background at an individual level, as shown in the submitted learning materials. If we say at an individual level, meaning it's not the instruction, one instruction that is applicable to all or one size fits all. So no, it doesn't go that way. Individual level must be, it's really should be annotated and reflected there that you consider the personal differences or the personal choice, the personal backgrounds of the learners for it to be considered as individual level or for outstanding. And if it's just a group level, so the rating should range from 1 to 4 alone. Now, my fellow teachers, to wrap it up, we used to have different interpretations of the policy and guidance. At times, we tend to forget the very core of every detail of this, the learners. More often than not, we go beyond being academic and rationalists. During this new normal, we must be more humanistic and loving. After all, when we teach, what do we really see? Students or human beings? Therefore, we shall give the utmost consideration to each and every learner because the global crisis is experienced by everyone. And now, I thank the project head of this project tribe of Lutucan Integrated National High School and also the participants for being with me. And as I close my session, I will be leaving a video that would somehow talk about the significance of inclusive education and the significance of learners' diversity in our education setup. Thank you very much and good day.
This made Grace sad for 2 reasons. She didn't like Natalie, and she didn't have a daddy of her own. Is he clear? Grace felt less and less like being the pink and floaty kind of princess. She couldn't imagine me. I think windows and mirrors is a nice metaphor to explain the importance of students seeing themselves in text and then students learning about others through text. Touch your nose if your dad doesn't live with you. Yeah, me too. Text selection is really important, and I think when students can see just even the slightest connection, they're so excited.
Reach Academy has seen an increase in diversity. We're seeing students from all over the world. Many of our families have been impacted by trauma. We need high-quality teachers in Title I schools that really believe in our children and their capacity to learn and not just look through a deficit lens.
I've known I wanted to be a teacher since I was in 2nd grade. For me, I wanted to be that teacher who looked like my students, who understood the struggle of what it means to be a smart little black girl. When I was little, I loved to read. As I got older, I wanted to see myself reflected in stories because I started to become more aware of my own identity. So our question this morning is, what is your favorite book that we've read this year and why?
The Flower's Beautiful Daughter because it made me learn about new cultures. My favorite book is Crown because I can relate to it. Okay, mi favorito libro es el.
So many of our families, they feel invisible in this society. They haven't been seen. They haven't had a voice. And how do we ensure when they walk through the doors of Reach Academy that they feel like they are somebody, that they are important?
It's really important that students see themselves in all aspects of their classroom and feel valued and respected. It's also really important to foster this understanding of others so that when they grow up, they are able to work with all different kinds of people.
We live in a world now where we have to build alliances across differences.
I agree. All right, you are gonna get to create a character today. Somebody that you wish was in a story. So what is their hair like? Is it like yours or is it different than yours?
When I first came to this school, I didn't have any friends, and I wanna make her just like me.
Okay, so maybe one of the reasons why I love teaching is watching those aha moments in students. Sometimes it's just watching them get excited about something. It's really heartening to see students who may be judged for so many things be these brilliant little people who are gonna one day run the world.
I want this character to exist because I want a character to be like me because I'm smart and brilliant and awesome.